What's up, everybody? This is the very first video of Third Eye See You. Right now, I'd like to just bring something to your attention. Because things are really, really different here in America from the way things used to be, back when I was a kid in the 80s. We are in a whole new time, day and age. So many things are publicly accepted that wasn't 20 years ago. The world is changing fast, but some of us are not. For hundreds of years in our communities, the man has been absent in the home, and the women have been made to be stuck with the burden of providing for and raising the children on their own. This is the tip of the iceberg. So, what really happens is that the problems of all this branch out, and from what? Over the next few weeks, we'll look into that and find ways to combat the very thing that we as black men and other minorities are glorified for, and that is, namely, our negativity. Myself, I grew up without my father, and although I did have a decent stepdad, after him and my mother got divorced and he remarried, I lost contact with him, and I made the choice that I was going to be a gangster and run the streets and live a life of crime, selling and using drugs, and with that lifestyle came the corruption that it breeds. In the process of keeping a gangster, I hurt my children and assaulted their mothers on numerous occasions, not only to feel bad later, not understanding how I could be so evil, but keeping a gangster usually ends up in drug addiction, self-destructive and abusive behaviors, and when we do this, we don't stop to think who was watching, but who taught me to be a G. It was back in the 80s. It was them boys in the Dickie suits, the Chucks, the Jerry curls, the Lopes, and the caddies with the bumper kits, and all them things back in the day, And so here we are today. I'm a black man, and we got to get up off of that thing. We can't keep running through life making excuses for the way that we behave. And a lot of us do this, and while we're doing this, we don't realize that there's kids watching us, okay? And there's kids looking at us, and they're soaking up everything like little sponges, every little thing that we're doing. These kids are learning from us right now. And we have to come to the realization and look in the mirror. Just because we look young don't mean that we are young. Just because I don't look like I'm 32 years old don't mean I need to be acting like I'm 22 or 25 or however the old people think I am or I think I feel that day. It just don't make any sense. All this time our kids are watching. We're smacking up our women. We still don't notice the kids watching. We degrade and dehumanize our women. We still don't notice the kids watching. We shoot and we kill each other in the streets, right in front of the innocent eyes that fill with the corruptions by the hands of our actions. In Minneapolis, you can't go to certain blocks and buy any drugs any time of the day. You used to be able to go on Chicago and Franklin, but why couldn't you do that on 50th and French? Because some white folks will call a law in a hurry because they don't want their kids to go to the store for a candy bar and see people smoke a weed and drunk as hell in front of the liquor store. But our community, ill use of Little Earth, for example, when I stood at the store in front of 26 of Cedar, nobody called the cops. Nobody even seemed to care. They drove by and they waved at me on occasion. It was praised, and I was told to get that money and call a hustler like it's a good thing. Does anyone see my point here? How is it a good thing to be a gangster, to be a hustler, and it's justified by doing what it is you have to do, when all I had to do was take my tail to school. Nobody snatched me up off the block and told me to go to school. They bought the bag of weed for me, and they kept on going. Still, at the same time, I'm not blaming nobody else. All right, so don't get stuck on that. We got to think bigger here. I'm pointing all this out for a reason, because I want you guys to know that we all affect everything as a whole. Okay, we all affect it. Because I showed a whole generation how to do what I did to screw my life up just by doing it where I did. All in their faces, I polluted the youth, and I am not alone. In some families, a man is to treat a lady right, never take advantage of her, be monogamous, honest, honorable. But where I come from, if I take advantage of a female, I'm not scolded, I'm a player. If I play a few girls, I ain't a slut, I'm a pimp. Do you see what I'm getting at? In the 50s and 60s, we had leaders, strong black men and women that fought for us to rise up and get out of the slump we was in as a people. Black people started to get smart and organize their communities, enrolling to school, voting. Men were at home being fathers and husbands. The Black Panthers were destroyed by crack at the time, along with L.A. as it spread to the East Coast. Malcolm X, Dr. King, Huey Newton, H. Rap Brown, all of them were killed or in prison and replaced by Larry Hoover, Tookie Williams, Superfly, Goldie Mack, and other type of role models that come from the jive turkey black movie renaissance era. So instead of strong, militant, productive male role models, we got the American gangsters that BET glorifies on their program for black men. How is this done on accident? How is this not done by design? The dope I sold was there by design. The guns I got were there by design. I know for a fact that if Brother Malcolm was still alive, the way that the conversation would start with getting these young guys to get it right would be, first, all you need to do is start by pulling your pants up. Something so small but respectful at the same time. And I never thought I'd turn to a guy that'd run around and tell kids to pull up their pants. But I got old, I suppose, Hey, this is just the tip of the iceberg, people. The thing that we got on the surface, the deep rabbit hole, and I hope to get feedback as I take you on this journey, because we have deadbeat moms and dads, sexual abuse in the homes, pediatric alcoholism, and many levels of abuse in each family member has to cover. And it will take time, but knowledge is God's gift. And we got to let him guide us through this, and we got to put our minds together to see what type of world we're going to make for our children. There is a cancer in the family body. In our homes, we have the first role models in life in forms of parental figures and siblings. We learn what to do in the life, and I'm going to give some examples that I have found too common in my experiences in my very next video. Thank you very much, and always, black men stand up. Everybody rise up. Let's get it together. Let's put our minds together. Let's put our hearts together and make this world a better place for our children to inherit.